A fighter jet races across the desert sky. Beside it flies another aircraft. It has no pilot, no cockpit, and no human life inside it. It can navigate, sense threats, exchange information, and carry weapons. But behind this aircraft is something even more surprising. The company that built it did not exist 10 years ago. Its founder was not a general, an aerospace executive, or a veteran of the defense industry. He was the young inventor who helped bring virtual reality into the mainstream. Today, his company is valued at $61 billion, and it is challenging some of the most powerful military contractors on Earth. This is the story of Anduril Industries and the attempt to rebuild the machinery of war as if it were a Silicon Valley technology platform. Long before Palmer Luckey entered the defense industry, he was building strange machines inside a trailer in California. As a teenager, he collected old virtual reality headsets, dismantled them, and experimented with ways to make the technology lighter, cheaper, and more convincing. The machines were crude. The ambition was not. Luckey believed virtual reality had failed, not because the idea was impossible, but because the existing technology was too expensive and too disconnected from what consumers actually needed. In 2012, he launched a Kickstarter campaign for a headset called the Oculus Rift. The campaign raised nearly $2.5 million. Developers saw something they had been waiting years to see: virtual reality that might finally become a real consumer product. Just 2 years later, Facebook agreed to acquire Oculus in a deal initially announced at approximately $2 billion. Palmer Luckey was only 21. It looked like the beginning of a long career at the center of Silicon Valley. Instead, 3 years later, he was gone. Luckey left Facebook in 2017 following months of controversy. The precise circumstances of his departure remain disputed. But professionally, he had lost control of the company that made him famous. Then he made a decision that surprised almost everyone. He entered the weapons business. If you value documentaries about the hidden companies and decisions reshaping the world, subscribe to Empire Stories and activate the notification bell. The next transformation is often happening before the public notices it. In 2017, Luckey joined former Palantir executives and other technology veterans to establish Anduril Industries. The company's name sounded like fantasy. Its objective was brutally real: build a new generation of military systems around artificial intelligence, autonomy, sensors, and software. At the time, this was an unusual direction for a Silicon Valley founder. Many large technology companies wanted government cloud contracts and civilian projects. But direct involvement in weapons development had become controversial among parts of the technology workforce. Anduril moved in the opposite direction. Its founders argued that the United States and its allies were becoming too dependent on a small number of traditional contractors, while software innovation was moving faster outside the defense industry. The problem was not simply that military equipment was expensive, it was the way that equipment was often created. A government agency could define thousands of requirements. Contractors would compete for a development contract. Years might pass before a prototype appeared. More years could pass before production began. By the time a system entered service, some of its technology could already be outdated. Anduril proposed a different model. Instead of waiting for the government to finance every stage of development, the company would use private investment to build products first. It would test them, demonstrate them, and then offer functioning systems to government customers. This transferred more early financial risk to the company, but it also gave Anduril more control over speed, design, and manufacturing. The most important part of this model was not a drone or an aircraft, it was software. Anduril called its central platform Lattice. Imagine a protected area surrounded by cameras, radar, towers, drones, and other sensors. Each device sees only one part of the environment. One may detect movement. Another may recognize an aircraft. A third may follow an object across the ground. Lattice is designed to combine those separate streams into a single operational picture. The software can identify objects, track their movement, and help coordinate different machines across air, land, and sea. In simple terms, Anduril was trying to give military hardware something resembling a shared nervous system. Its early opportunities were far less glamorous than an autonomous combat aircraft. Anduril deployed sensor towers for border surveillance. These towers used cameras, radar, and software to detect and classify movement across large areas. The work gave the young company something every defense startup desperately needed: a real customer, operational feedback, and evidence that its systems could function outside a controlled demonstration. From there, Anduril expanded rapidly. Ghost became a family of small autonomous aerial systems. Dive LD moved the company beneath the surface of the ocean. Roadrunner combined autonomous flight with vertical takeoff and landing in a reusable interceptor platform. And the company moved into solid rocket motors, counter-drone systems, electronic warfare, surveillance, and command software. This expansion carried a risk. A startup can look innovative while producing a handful of impressive prototypes. Building thousands of reliable systems, maintaining them, and delivering them on schedule is an entirely different business. For Anduril to become a genuine defense manufacturer, software was not enough. It needed factories. In January 2025, the company selected Ohio as the location for Arsenal 1, a manufacturing campus designed to produce autonomous defense systems at large scale. The planned campus covers millions of square feet and represents an investment of roughly $1 billion. Its long-term employment target reaches thousands of workers. But the important idea is not the size of the buildings. It is the manufacturing philosophy behind them. Traditional military systems are often produced in relatively small numbers, using specialized materials, custom components, and supply chains that are difficult to expand quickly. Anduril wants to design products with mass production in mind from the beginning, using common manufacturing processes, modular designs, and components that can be sourced and assembled more rapidly. The company's argument is simple. A country cannot deter a large industrial rival with a small number of exquisite systems that take years to replace. It needs intelligent systems, but it also needs enough of them. In July 2026, the first Ohio-built Fury aircraft rolled off the Arsenal 1 production line. The moment mattered because Fury is connected to Anduril's most ambitious challenge yet. The United States Air Force has been developing collaborative combat aircraft, uncrewed aircraft intended to operate alongside crewed fighters. The objective is not simply to replace pilots, it is to extend the reach, sensing ability, and combat capacity of human-led formations without placing a pilot inside every aircraft. Anduril's entry received the official designation YFQ-44A. The letter Y identifies it as a prototype. F represents a fighter role. Q indicates an unmanned aircraft. In early 2026, the Air Force confirmed that Anduril's aircraft had completed its first flight. Then the program moved faster. In June 2026, the Air Force awarded Anduril an engineering, manufacturing, development, and production contract for the FQ-44 as part of the first collaborative combat aircraft increment. The wider program aims to procure more than 150 combat-capable collaborative aircraft by the end of the decade, across the selected platforms. 1 month later, a YFQ-44A fired an AIM-120 weapon at a digital target during a test over the Mojave Desert. For a company founded only 9 years earlier, it was a remarkable transition, from surveillance towers to an aircraft being prepared for future combat formations. But this is also where Anduril's story becomes more difficult. The word autonomy can describe many different capabilities. A machine can navigate without constant manual control. It can recognize an object, plan a route, coordinate with another aircraft, or respond to changing conditions. But allowing software to influence military action raises profound questions. What happens when a sensor is wrong? Who is responsible when an autonomous system behaves unexpectedly? Can meaningful human judgment survive when machines operate at speeds that pressure people to approve decisions almost instantly? And as more nations deploy these technologies, does autonomy reduce the risk to soldiers or make conflict easier to begin? Anduril argues that autonomous systems can improve awareness, protect service members, and strengthen deterrence. Critics worry about accountability, escalation, and the gradual removal of humans from critical decisions. One distinction is essential. After the YFQ-44A live fire test, the U.S. Air Force stated that collaborative combat aircraft will not autonomously employ weapons. The decision to release a weapon remains with a human operator. During the test, the aircraft executed parts of the sequence autonomously, but inside parameters defined by human operators. That does not end the ethical debate. It defines where the official boundary currently stands. Meanwhile, investors have treated Anduril not as a small experimental contractor, but one of the most valuable private technology companies in America. In May 2026, Anduril announced that it had raised $5 billion in a new funding round, bringing its valuation to $61 billion. That valuation is not revenue. It is not profit. And it does not guarantee that the company will defeat experienced competitors with decades of manufacturing knowledge and global supply chains. Anduril still has to prove that it can produce complex systems reliably, deliver them at scale, control costs, and operate within the demanding reality of government procurement. Its rapid expansion also creates the danger of attempting too much at once. But the company has already demonstrated something important. A new defense contractor can use private capital, software development, and product-focused manufacturing to move from an idea to major government programs far faster than many observers believed possible. The deeper transformation may not be any single Anduril aircraft, drone, tower, or interceptor. It may be the business model connecting all of them, software that links many systems, factories designed for volume, products developed before a traditional contract guarantees success, and private investors willing to finance the risk. Palmer Luckey began his career trying to convince the world that virtual reality could escape the laboratory and become a real product. Now he is making a far more consequential wager that the defense industry can be rebuilt around autonomy, software, and mass production. If Anduril succeeds, future military power may depend less on a small number of giant platforms and more on networks of intelligent machines operating at enormous speed and scale. The company says those systems will strengthen deterrence and protect human lives. Others see a world moving dangerously close to automating warfare. Both may be looking at the same future. The only disagreement is what that future means. Do companies like Anduril make war less likely by strengthening deterrence? Or make conflict more dangerous by accelerating the machines involved? Tell us what you think in the comments. And subscribe to Empire Stories for more documentaries about the companies quietly reshaping global power.